Hello everybody! Well, as you know, Ecaflip City or Temporis number 5 is quickly approaching, and a question that I have seen asked many times in many places is, what is a Temporis? Well, I got a video here that is going to hopefully help answer some of those questions for you. So last week I did a live stream, and in that live stream we actually got to talking about Temporis in general and the upcoming event quite a bit. So instead of me reinventing the wheel, I decided I'm going to go through there, snip out all those questions since they were kind of live questions from you guys. So I'm hoping that that makes it a little more engaging. You can kind of understand what's going on. I've also recorded it in such a way to where you can see the chat on the side. I think most of the time I read the question, but I decided to record it that way just in case I forget, and you could see what the question was on the right-hand side. I will also link the full live stream in the description below, maybe even have a pop-up here in one of the corners if you want to go watch the whole thing. Also, Ankama has released more information about Temporis since this live stream, so there might actually be some more answers to some of the questions that were here that maybe I didn't have a complete answer for. So you might be able to get you some more information on the subject there on the Dofus website. And last of all, if there's any questions that you have that are not answered in this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to maybe check to see if I can find an answer for you and reply in that comment as well. If you can do me a huge favor, real fast, smack that like button. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's do this. Isaiah, just finished my first 200 on Ely. Anyone else overhyped for Temporis? Yes. Isaiah, I am very pumped for Temporis. In fact, I plan on doing lots of live streaming. So Temporis starts this next week. I'm even contemplating the idea. I've got some PTO saved up at work. I might take a couple days off. Maybe not on Wednesday when it actually comes out, because I got a feeling the first day, if just so anybody who is also pumped for Temporis, just know Wednesday's going to be rough. You know, there's probably going to be server crashes. You're going to have a hard time logging in. It's the nature of the beast. That's how it goes when those first start. So I'm thinking of taking off Thursday and Friday so that I can do some long live streams on both of those days and really have some fun with Temporis there at very beginning. And then next week, I don't know if I'll have a regular Thursday video since I will be doing so much live streaming. But hopefully lots of people will be able to get in on those live streams and maybe we can even run some stuff together. I'm on the V server, which I think is full now. I don't know if anybody else is on that server, but that's the server that I'll be on until they merge them all together, and then we'll all be one big happy family at that point. What's Ecaflip City? Don't really keep up all the news as of late. Oh, no problem. Ecaflip City is actually the Temporis that's going to be happening next week. Have you done a Temporis before? I've heard of Temporis, but honestly don't know what it is. Temporis is basically going to be a temporary server. It'll look like the game of Dofus and everything. There'll be 10 brand new servers, but they're all the same thing. They're mono account, and what it is there's a twist to it. So usually they take, like the one from last year, what they did is all the classes started out with maybe like one passive spell and one other spell. Basically start out with like 2 spells, and then the rest of the spells were dropped by enemies, like these little scroll-like things. Then you could put any class spell on any class. So you could be an any and have Iops Wrath, or you could be an Ecaflip and have an any healing spell. I mean, it was kind of crazy how you can mix and match all these spells. And that's what you had to do as you went through the game. And also there'll be what I like to call, it's like a battle pass, if you're familiar with Fortnite and stuff like that, where there's these tiers that you work your way through, and as you work your way down, you get rewards and achievements and stuff, and then there'll be some things that you can actually bring back to the main server when the Temporis ends, because Temporis is only open for 10 weeks. After Temporis ends, you come back to your main server. You'll get to bring a few things back with you. You'll get a little XP potion that you can bring back with you, things like that. But for the most part, everything you did in Temporis is gone. But it's just a fun way to play the game for a couple months where they put some twist on it. And this year what they're doing is called Ecaflip City. And it's supposed to be kind of like a Las Vegas. and where there's lots of games and you hang out and you do all kinds of fun, silly things. There's gambling, you play cards, and now the way you are going to level your character is going to be that you have to go out and gather specific cards. From what I understand, it's every 5 combination of cards. So you'll use cards to level your character. You're going to use cards to craft your gear. All the profession recipes. So like if we bring up the carver right here, instead of seeing resources here, you're going to see different cards are actually used to craft these. Now, from what I understand, though, they're not going to tell you which cards craft which recipes. You will actually have to learn that as you do it. It sounds really weird, and I'm not exactly sure what to expect. But that's the gist of it. It's supposed to be completely revolving around Eka Flip and games and fun and cards, and it's supposed to have like a Vegas feel to it. So it'll be interesting. It starts next Wednesday on the 21st, and it's going to go for 10 weeks. Now, I plan on doing a lot of live streaming. I'll try to put together a video maybe within the first week, maybe just kind of showing people how the Temporis works, because some people may not know how it actually works, and I won't at first. But hopefully, as I figure it out, I can put together at least a quick tip type video for people who are curious about the Temporis. But yeah, that's what the Temporis is. So you create a new character level 1 and play it for 10 weeks with spells that you gather through drops. Well, that was last year's. This year, your class will be like normal. This one, you're going to be dropping cards, and you use cards for everything. From what I understand, they're the mechanic behind it all. See, should I focus more on leveling up my professions or just gathering resources from fights? That's a really good question. One thing Ankama actually said is you could do this entire Temporis without ever doing a fight if you wanted to. Meaning you could get all the way through the pass just by doing professions and things like that. I was like, that's kind of wild to think about. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many things are going to drop. Like when you go fight monsters, I don't know how many cards you get. I don't know if when you go chop down a tree, if it gives you cards now instead of wood. I don't know how any of that is going to work. But they did make it pretty clear that professions are going to be a pretty significant and important piece. So you'll definitely probably want to consider leveling at least one of those up. Oh, and they did say that the leveling speed of the professions is going to be increased for this. So I don't know if that means you get like way more XP per craft versus, only going up one level at a craft. But they did say that the leveling of professions is going to be way faster. So apparently it's going to be a pretty important piece to the entire thing. Yeah, it is going to be interesting. You should definitely check it out. It may be a bit confusing and crazy at first, especially on the first day if servers are crashing and stuff, but I think it'd be fun to check out. Last year's was awesome. It was the first time I'd ever participated in one, and it was a blast. I absolutely loved it. Simpson, I recommend a little bit of everything. It's not fun to do one thing 24/7. I agree. You'll want to mix it up probably. I'm picturing myself trying to get the gobble set, but my cards keep turning into Pee-wee sets. Yeah, that's my biggest fear. I hope they've done a lot of practice trying to figure out what's the sweet spot between people grinding to drop gear or drop the cards to craft the gear that they want. I got a feeling the lower levels will be pretty easy, but when you start getting up to those mid and high levels, I'm hoping there's not like super rare drop rates on cards that are needed to craft gear that you need. I really don't know what to expect. It'll be interesting. It will be interesting. So what is the goal of Temporis, though? Are there certain achievements you unlock that unlock something or regular in-game characters? The main goal is to try to get through that battle pass. Does anybody on here at the moment have some of the things from the last Temporis? Maybe we can show them here on the live stream if you've got like the pet or the mount. See, one of the things that was pretty cool is you started out with this one mount, and as you worked your way through the battle pass, it kept growing and getting bigger and changing forms. And then the biggest, most epic form of that was at the end. Well, the cool thing is when you ended Temporis, that pet got to come back with you to the regular server. And so then you could use it just running around here on your regular characters. You also get some emotes that you can bring back, some cosmetic things that you can bring back. There's an XP potion that you can get. So if you like created a new character, you can pump it all into a new character to jump up and get progress for all that, or you can use it on a character you've already leveled. But the main goal is to try to get as far through that pass as you can before the time runs out. Now, if you cut a tree, you get wood, but that wood, it's for trading cards. Okay, that's one thing I wondered. Temporis comes out the week I'm getting married. I told the wife maybe we can move the wedding. Wow, that's dedication, Mark. Is she a Dofus player as well? I mean, you could maybe talk her into it if Dofus is kind of her thing too. But congrats on the wedding, though. That's awesome. I've been playing Dofus on and off since 2009, and this is the first I've heard of this, but it really does sound awesome. Really appreciate you explaining it. Yeah, certainly. Like I said, I thought about trying to put together even a video just what is Temporis between now and the release of Temporis, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it done in time. But I might have a video that pops out, just kind of explains it in general terms for people, because I've seen that question popping up a lot. I want to make sure I didn't have to like get a specific drop to do that. What is the best duo comp for the new Temporis V in your opinion? Do you mean like you and somebody else? Because it is a mono account server. You won't be able to like create a duo. So I assume you mean you're going to be like running with a friend or something. Gosh, it's kind of hard to say because I don't know how easy it's going to be to get specific builds. For example, like if I were to say, create yourself an intelligence. Stop stealing my trees. I cut down one ash. But if I said, hey, if I want you, I would recommend you build an intelligence crawl. Well, the problem is you're not going to be able to just go out there and buy a red peewee set. I mean, I guess after a while you'll be able to, and once people have started crafting them and they put them in the market, but it's like to go out and buy specific elemental gear is not going to be easy because you're going to have to figure out which cards create which types of gear, and until the economy or the server population works their way up, and if they're sharing that information or not, some people may be like, cool, I'm the only one that's figured out how to make a gobble headgear. I mean, I'm just using that as an example. That person now has leverage over everybody else until somebody else finds it out and stuff. I think it's going to be really hard to pick a class. I guess I'll put it this way. I think your best classes and duos are going to be picking classes that are viable in all four elements. That way you're not as restricted based upon what gear you can get your hands on. So if you build a class like what's a class that's very heavy to one or two elements, like an innie. You know, most people, they don't build strength innies. Well, if the only thing you're able to get your hands on is strength gear, suddenly your innie's kind of in a crappy situation until you can figure out how to get some gear for the element you want. I hope that makes sense. So the classes that do really well in most elements, I would say the Ecaflip is one I've heard does. I haven't played all the elements, but I've heard they do well. Foggernauts, I would say IOPS do pretty well in most of them. Fecas definitely. Yep, pointing that out is a good one. Pandas do good in most of the elements. I feel like 3 of the 4 elements are really strong. Definitely depends on, like if you're a Sedita, I wouldn't go agility because you're not going to get any agility spells until way later into your class. So I would maybe be looking at that. When you're trying to figure out which class you want to go with, maybe try to figure out which ones are going to do good no matter which element I can get the gear for. I hope that helps. Talking on Temporis, don't the cards also do spells, not just items? I don't think so. I think spells are going to be... I think all the classes are going to be completely normal. They did clarify that. But they did say that the trophies that you can get and the little cat pet that you can get, that they can have an effect on your class. And they're making it sound like it's more than your standard kind of trophies. I almost wonder, and they said what it is your cards have an effect on what abilities these idols will be able to have, or these trophies will be able to have. I almost wonder if the little pet trophy that you can get, if you're going to be able to implement like class type spells, modify spells. So like maybe you reduce 1 AP from the casting of certain spells, or maybe line of sight's no longer required. I don't know. They were very, and I know it was on purpose, but they were very vague about what you'll be able to do, but they did make it very clear that it's substantial. So the classes will play as they do here on Illyzale and Echo, but you will be able to modify spells in some fashion through the use of those things. That's all I can, that's all I know. I hope that helps. Was wondering, will you be taking part in the whole Temporis thing? I am taking part in it. Next Wednesday is when it starts, and I plan on streaming a lot of it. I figure at least the first couple weeks, I'm going to spend a good amount of time on Temporis stuff, on live streams. I'm going to try to get maybe some helpful guides out there for people as I piece together how it works. We'll see. I figure after a couple weeks, if most people have kind of died out on it, or if it turns out not to be all that great, I might go back to doing regular stuff on the channel. But as of right now, yes, the plan is to be very much involved in Temporis. I would love to make it all the way through the Battle Pass. Now that I kind of know what to expect, I would love to pull that off. If any of you, and that actually, I just remembered this, anybody wants to kind of see what a Temporis is like, I do have some videos on my channel from last year, but I'll show you what to look for here real quick. In case you want to go look at those to maybe get an idea of what to expect. If you go on my channel and you go underneath the playlists, right here underneath News and Fun, if you click View Full Playlist, I've got a couple here from the last Temporis. So this one was a short guide that I made up on the fastest way to get the tokens to try to level through it. And then this was kind of a basic understanding of how the Temporis was working. This would be a good one to watch if you just want to see kind of what to expect. Like I showed the Battle Pass on there. In fact, the thumbnail here, you're seeing a lot of the stuff that would come back with you to the regular server if you worked your way up far enough on that Battle Pass. That's what that's kind of showing there. But this one will at least kind of show you what Temporis was, Temporis IV. Might give you an idea of what to expect. So if you're curious, you might check that out. Again, that's underneath the News and Fun section on the playlist, because they're kind of a couple random things. Wait, there's info on the new Temporis V Battle Pass. I haven't seen any information on that yet. Oh, they did have something. I totally forgot about this. You know what? I can show you something. I had a video that I put out where they did a podcast, like a reveal. It was over 2 hours long, but only 20 minutes of it was actually in English. And I went through and just clipped out the English parts.
Time, I will be very happy to
translate
to English. So
here we go. I can show you a couple of the thumbnails that popped up on that and kind of explain to you what's going on. But yeah, if you want to understand like what this Temporis is supposed to be about, how it's supposed to play out, if you watch this video of the podcast and it just says English parts only or something like that, that's what this is. I snipped out only the English sections. There's a few looks of what Temporis Ecaflip City is going to look like. There's some casinos. They got some dance clubs. You can get married, I guess, while you're up here. There's a singing place. So let's see what else we got here. Here's where they're talking about the 5-cat draw. So here's the kitty Nico. This is going to be what is one of your idols or your trophies, I guess. And depending on which cards you feed it, can give it different abilities. And it's supposed to fill in one of those slots on your character, right here. In fact, I think they said it's the second slot. It fills up. These are a couple of the mini games they got planned. Here's some tokens that they're going to have for accomplishing different things. In fact, this one says given out by content creators. I'm really hoping I get some of those to give out. That would be so cool. I've reached out to Manea to see if I can maybe get some. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Okay, here's the pet, I believe. Let's see. Is there another one? Okay, that's where the schedule is. Okay, I think this here is the pet So it like starts out as a little pet, and as you work your way through the battle pass, it'll evolve into different forms to where eventually it becomes a pet mount and you could actually ride it. And there's supposed to be different ways you can customize the look and decorate them and stuff like that. And then at the end of the Temporis, you get to bring this back with you. So these will be on the battle pass somehow. Typically, the smallest version will be almost at the beginning of the battle pass, and then you work your way through the battle pass to evolve it into the other forms. But that's a little bit of information on what to expect and to see some of that. Anybody got any questions specifically about some of these slides? I can try to explain it to you real fast if you want, since I've got it right here. But if you want to watch this video, it's on my channel as well. It's just the English parts. If it's something to listen to, it's real easy to listen to. Eka City looks awesome though, doesn't it? I agree. I think it's gonna be really cool. I hope they got lots of lights and fun sounds and music and stuff going on up there. They've made it sound like there's gonna be a lot of story up there. Even going around and exploring, they're making it sound like they've put a lot of detail into like different drinks and stuff you can get. I really want to spend more time just enjoying Temporis other than just grinding it the whole time. At least that's my goal. I can't pre-register for Temporis anymore. Oh yeah, I think yesterday was the last day for that. That's okay, Matthias. You can still get in. You just won't be pre-registered, so I don't know if the process of getting in might be not more difficult necessarily, but well, that may be what it is. It's more difficult, but you'll still be able to get in there. I've seen some people say that spells will be customizable, but others that you can change classes freely. Do you know what's going on happen in that regards? Hey, Alex, I do believe they said that they're offering... They made it sound like it was going to be one class change. It was really weird the way they worded it. I don't know if you're going to be able to just do it freely as often as you want to. It almost sounded like they were going to be offering you one chance, but it could be as often as you want. It was really weird the way they said it. But yeah, I do know that at least once you'll be able to. As far as customizing the spells, I don't think you'll be able to customize them like in the last Temporis, but they did say that this little Nico cat thing... Where's that at? This thing right here will be able to affect your spells. Depending on what cards you put in there, you can have... They almost made it sound like you could have up to 5 different effects going on with it. But again, they kept it real cryptic on what exactly you can get from that. But that might be what people are talking about when they say that you can customize your spells, is they're referring to that.